Warning. What you are about to see and hear is for entertainment purposes only. The opinions expressed on the show are our opinions and do not reflect the views of BTW21 or its staff. Ladies and gentlemen, Daniel and Chad.
God is looking for someone real. People are looking for something real. Just be real. It is the Be Real podcast.
We're here.
With Peckerhead.
Is that his
We are
name?
your host. Not yet. We're your host, Daniel Lewis, Brother Chad Hudson.
Hello.
Yes, we have a very special guest with us. He's back again.
I don't know about
think he
special,
was-
but thank you.
Oh, you are. Very special.
Ed.
Just ask Chad. You were here, I think, our third show for the first season.
Yep.
Yeah. And we're so glad to have you because you are Southwest Virginia's newsman, and you do such an amazing job. I mean, everybody gets on here, we're always just building them up so much, but I do want to say that I am very impressed. Somebody that's not from America, you're originally from El Salvador.
Right.
They can go back and watch the show.
Yeah.
And learn all about you, and we can kind of, I guess, deal with that a little bit more. Just kind of, what do you call it when you re-evaluate what you already done?
It's called reevaluate. What you've
Reevaluate.
done.
It's something else, though.
Review.
Review.
Yeah.
See,
What episode? Episode 3.
episode
I think
3.
so, 3 or 4.
Yeah, it's 3
something
or
like
4-ish, somewhere around in there.
So what have you been doing since episode 3?
But Luis Romero.
Working.
Where?
Here.
Here.
This is the only job here.
24 hours a day, it seems.
I don't know about that, but
Close.
You do,
seems,
man.
it seems like it, but no, not really.
No.
I think a lot of people, and I'm glad you guys said that. A lot of people have that misconception that I am like 24 hours, which sometimes
seem like
it happens, but there are moments where thankfully nothing has happened, so I can take a break. But because I'm the one that shows up to it, you're like, okay, well, there's one at 11. Then there's something, let's say 11 a.m. and then something 11 p.m.
Right.
You think that I've worked in between that, but other things have happened. So
Well, Martinsville has been known, especially over the last 10, 20 years, easily, as Little Chicago. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on.
yes, there is.
A lot of stuff going on.
Right.
And so you're responsible for the news, not only as what people brings in, but I noticed you're out on the road.
Right.
Like when somebody's driving through the front of
Right.
stores.
Yeah.
Front of
yeah.
stores.
And believe it or
Going
not,
down the
that happens a
highway.
lot.
Right.
It's
He
like
was
a
just
theme.
mentioning that. He was like, Daniel, how many people's driving through stores? I was like,
Yeah.
I noticed that.
That's a
I
newest
noticed that.
fade.
Yeah.
Fad.
The newest fad. Just
Run
drive through the store.
Yeah.
Like, what is the cause of these things? They don't know, or just somebody?
I
just,
think a lot of the problem that we have with crime, with crashes, incidents like that, people aren't thinking. Like, they're just doing and not thinking about what they're doing. And so-
Methamphetamines.
I'm not going to say that, but
Oh.
but maybe. That
Or
could be.
some kind of
We do have a drug
medications.
problem, yes.
There's a drug problem in the
Yep.
area. And with that, you run into, driving into stores, car wrecks and things like this. So I think that people do see you on the news, like you said, from 11 to 11 or, from 10 to 10 or whatever.
2 o'clock in the
2
morning.
o'clock in the morning. I want to let you know that I appreciate you getting
thank
out
you.
there
Yes.
and telling my family what's going on out there. We look
Right.
at the news personally, and we adjust to our lives. But when you're talking to a family, when you're on the air and you're talking to my family, you're letting them know what's out there.
Right.
Right.
what to
What
look
area
for,
to avoid.
what area to avoid, what road not to go down if they have to go to work.
Right.
You know, you're constantly out there, and I want to let you know that I appreciate you.
Well, thank you.
And
A
like
lot.
It
everybody,
means a lot.
And like everybody, you're kind of curious of
Yeah.
who it is. So you see the vehicle, and you're like, wait a minute.
That makes me nervous.
Yeah,
now
that does
makes
make me nervous
now,
too, man.
I will say this: you are more respectful than
He is.
Well, thank you.
our
I'm mentional.
our competition or
Their
your
competition.
your competition.
Well, I will say this: I don't consider them competition. You got to keep up to be able to compete, right?
Yeah,
Right?
I love it.
Is
That's
that
right. That's right, my brother.
So-
and there is none of that. You are way beyond that.
Well,
He
thank you.
is.
And but I would like to say that you do keep us informed, and I do love that. That's
Especially in
great.
Patrick County.
That's right.
You know, that's where I'm from. I see
Right.
a lot of stuff going on 58. I hear a lot of, about anything that's in Martinsville, and that's our closest city.
That's our area.
We got
so-
like an hour and a half to Winston, hour and 10 minutes or
Yep.
so, even more to Roanoke. But Martinsville's, that's our neighbor. It's always been Henry County, which is Martinsville. And so when you're on there and you see, something happens on Sandville Road or over there near Adams Grocery, which is, I can't remember
Right.
the name of the road now, but right off of County Line Road, it's just like, man, that just happened right there.
Right.
Right there. And he was out there covering it, whether it be a structure fire or a car overturned or, just
shooting, a drug
shooting,
related-
variety.
Talking
of,
about that, how do you feel safe going out there? I mean,
Yes,
has
that's
there-
a good question.
Has there any been a situation where you were just, I better get back in my car?
Yes.
that.
Yes. So I'll answer the first part of that.
Right.
Yes,
With
please.
I always feel safe. I'm a man of faith, so that's foremost right there.
Amen.
So I always do feel
faith
safe.
in what?
Jesus Christ,
Hey,
the one and
Just
only.
wanted to hear it.
hey.
So
I love
secondly, a lot of times when we respond to these things, it's Chad and Daniel had an argument, and they took care of that argument either physically or with a gun or with a
Right.
knife.
Right.
But at the end of the day, when I show up there, I know that most likely the suspect has been arrested, and again that
scene's
incident
in
was
control.
just between
Or
yes,
on the
yeah.
run. Or
True,
he took
true,
off.
True.
Like, right.
But it's been between just two people most of the
Right,
time. So I don't.
right,
There's
right.
no danger to the community.
Yes.
There's no danger to myself. And then the other thing is that having a good working relationship with law enforcement and appreciating them
It
and letting
is.
them know that they take care of me in return.
I love
So they know, okay, Luis is there, and they tell me you can only go this far. I respect that.
Mm.
And again, it's
That's
twofold.
That's a great mindset to have, and you have respect for them
Right.
and what they do, and they know that you have a job as well.
Absolutely.
So working with two respectful people or two
Yep. A lot gets done.
identities could work out that way.
So
that's
that's
great.
the aspect of being safe. So again, because my mother worries all the time.
Oh, I'm sure.
When,
Oh, I
when I
bet.
go out,
I bet.
every time something happens, is you better not get close. You better not do. And I'm like, yes. And you also have
That's
to
sweet.
keep your eyes on everything that's going on.
All right.
Be focused on
Aware.
the story, but also be
Aware.
mindful of what's
Keep your
going
eyes
around.
open. Right.
So that goes with being safe. And I think the other part of the question was, what was the other part? I lost my train of thought
Man, we
in
just
a second. But
I just keep
you
on
said
talking.
being safe.
You know, being safe.
One thing I wanted to get to was
Christian, what do we say?
Yeah, what was the?
What do we
is-
say?
Is he here?
You don't know. What? Okay.
What was the second part?
If you want to get back, do you need to get back in your car and leave?
Oh
Hey,
yeah. Has there
she
ever,
did.
ever
Oh, that's
been?
right. That's right.
Thank
Has
you.
my
Thank
life
you for
been
watching the
threatened?
show.
Yes. Thank you.
Wow.
Appreciate that. Please subscribe.
So, has there ever been
Yes.
a situation where you were like, "Hey, maybe I should go sit back down
Yeah.
for a minute"?
And that kind of goes also along with the working with it. I know, for example, the fire marshal, because this is a true incident, was like, Luis, I'm about to leave. I suggest, nicely, obviously, that you wrap things up because this is not the best place you want to be alone.
Wow.
So
really?
again, they give me those
Heads up.
those heads up. And but yes, there's been incidents where my life has been threatened, where I've been put against the back of a vehicle,
Wow.
pushed by certain people that are not happy that I'm there.
Well, he knows the Be Real boys,
yeah.
so
We'll write
From
on
now
down.
on-
All you got to do is make
from
that
now
phone
on-
call.
Right.
That's
we might be
fair.
30 minutes away, but that's an hour you got to live.
But again, the
Just
law
saying.
enforcement,
Just saying.
firefighters,
He's our great friend.
first responders have always stepped up for my safety in those situations.
Good.
That's great.
So yes, you still again are very cautious of what you're doing, and I that's not just the only reason why I want to be respectful. First of all, I'm a human, so I have the decency of try to understand what if that was my family.
Amen. Yeah.
What would I want done in that situation?
And is it not beneficial to be a good human?
Very much.
I mean,
so.
if that's what people just realize,
Very
it
much
is
so.
beneficial in your own personal life to be a good human.
And
Yep.
they know this.
Yeah.
Everybody knows
it pays off.
It
pays
does.
off.
Everybody knows it.
And again,
But sometimes the drama and the bullshit outweighs everything else.
yep.
Unfortunately.
And again, a lot of times you let emotions get to the best of you.
Right.
So I can
And it's
understand
easy
that
to
too,
do.
and I can understand.
Yes.
I can understand that aspect of
Easier
someone being.
said than done.
I can understand the aspect
Yes.
of somebody being angry that I'm there or not liking the
Me too.
situation.
Now, when
I can get that.
When you talk about angry being there, I'm pretty sure I kind of know what you're talking about.
Right.
Are you talking about like a car accident where somebody
That's
might
where
be
I see
hurt,
it. That's
or
where I
something?
see it the most.
Yeah.
People are not used to, I guess, the news station, a television station showing up to
Right.
the wreck. So specifically, if I go to an area where we're not prone to doing, we still cover Franklin and Patrick County, but we don't go there all the time. But I've been to some areas, where I'm not the most welcome in comparison to Henry County, where they're like, oh, this Luis. I hate that he's here, but let me just move it out of the way. I don't want to be in the video.
Yeah.
Whereas if I go to another area that I don't, and it's not talking negatively about the people, but again, we have to understand both sides
There's
of it.
cameras
Yep.
and shit.
And so they're like, get away right now.
Right. Right. Which is
don't come.
understandable.
Yeah.
I mean, it does happen. And they're used to the jerk over here at
And-
Star News.
Yeah, and that does paint a
that
negative.
does paint
image.
negative
So-
for everybody.
Yep.
I mean, it ruins for the whole thing.
Yep.
Once media, always media. So it's like, get the
Yeah.
hell out of here.
But it's one of those
no
things,
respect.
I see an overturned SUV, a dark SUV, and now in my head, I'm like, oh, who do I know that has that dark
Right.
SUV?
Right.
Oh, that's Chris and his old lady, or that's Steve.
Right. Or their
all of a sudden
kid.
it starts panicking a
Yeah.
little bit, and I
Right.
can see. But like I said, when I've watched your shows, or I've watched your newscasts, or I've watched your lives, you get out there and you're respectful. You're not.
I'm hanging back here until they let me.
I'm standing back. This is what the information I give you, and later I'll try to give you some more.
Right.
The shit's that crazy is in the comments is like, what's the vehicle look like?
Right.
What's the tag number? Oh,
Yeah.
where are you at? What is it? Who is it? Or is it a girl? Is it a man? Is
And
it,
then if you were about to say
they want to know
something-
it, but then when you
If
put
you
it
were
on
about
there,
to
it's like,
say
you
something,
son of a bitch.
how'd you do that? Why'd you do
Right,
that?
right,
How
right.
could
Yeah.
you do
Why'd
that?
you put it on there? Well, I had
Yeah.
20
Right.
people asking me if it was male or female.
Right.
Good Lord, man.
Yeah,
if
and
you want the news, you want it. If you don't, stay the hell off of social media.
And you have to play that when it comes to anything that I do. I have to be very careful, not just for the integrity of the people and the respect of them, but the accuracy, because people
Right.
rely on us being
Right.
accurate.
Oh,
not just
you
showing
said
up.
this,
Right.
and yeah.
Not just showing up. I mean, anybody can show up. I mean,
Yes.
I can call anybody to show up to a
Yeah.
crash. That doesn't mean that they're going to do it the same way
Accurately.
or actually share information that's truthful. And then if I've made mistakes, which of course I'm human, I have. Then I say, okay, guys, this is where I went wrong. Let me
And that's respectable.
Right.
let
That-
me
that's great.
correct it.
So this is a much different show.
Yeah.
Let me just say
last
that.
time we were eating your grandma's papusi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think last time was more like Luis, and this one's
Yeah, it was
more like
Luis.
the journalist.
It was like-
And I like that.
He's laying it
I
down.
want to hear that.
That's why I
you
had
know?
the jacket
too.
on today, because
Right.
they were like, "Why is he wearing a jacket?"
Right.
You know,
I was outdressed by Luis.
But you're
was
speaking
good.
truth.
he outdressed me at the parade, so it
That
you
was a
were
good
happy.
parade. Let's talk about that for a minute.
We're doing it again, right? This
Oh,
year?
I hope so. I really
If
hope
you
so.
allow
That
us,
if
I
you
would
allow
love
us
to.
to do, Daniel and I talked
it
about
was
that.
the best production that I would say.
Well, thanks, man.
So
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Daniel and I
a
talked
really
about
good
that
time.
just last week, and here we are.
right,
Yeah. I love it.
4 months later.
Yeah.
Um,
Love it.
we didn't have a script. We didn't have the run out of who was coming. We
Nope.
just winged
Line
it.
up, nothing.
And I think
Surprisingly, you guys knew everybody though.
I think it worked out
Quite a
good.
few.
We knew a few. There's a few that I missed that I wish I would have said something. But that that comes with live TV.
It does.
But I had a really great time. I know Daniel and I both
He made
want
it
to.
really good.
I want to
Yeah,
thank
it
you,
was, yeah.
and even Christian. Christian had some great shots out there
Chris,
on the road.
he was down there in the line of fire.
Don't pat him too much. He's still learning.
No, he was going to get run over by one of those trucks coming down.
That's commitment. Hey,
was
if you
commitment.
sign up to be a cameraman for BTW, that's kind of
That's
in the
right.
contract right there.
That's
I was
right.
kind of jealous a
Fine
little
print.
bit because he about got run over some of those cheerleaders.
Right, the cheerleaders
They
were
was
running
coming down there. I
They
was like,
coming down.
damn, I'll
Got to
get
be
run
careful.
over.
His girlfriend's producing.
Oh,
so,
hey.
She just gave us a look.
That's what I
There
tell
was-
you. What I tell you.
There were guy cheerleaders.
There we go.
Lifting weights and stuff. But no, Daniel and I had a great time, and I
did too,
thank you all
personally.
for doing that.
Yeah,
That
it was good.
good
I'm-
Christmas.
Out
loved
of all of it, I am just glad that nobody failed because the 2 past years that we've gone, somebody's fallen. So,
Well,
like,
they-
from our crew, So
We have it on our steepest grade of hill
Uh-huh.
in the whole county. Main Street there is like
is.
I can't remember the grade on it, but it's straight down.
Right.
So
And we were talking on steps.
and
Yeah.
we were on steps. It was a good time.
After a few cup of coffees, it's
Coffee late.
fun.
is that what you're calling
Fun.
it now?
yeah, a few
It's
cups of coffee.
I thought it was water at first.
It was water.
It
and
was
coffee.
Be Real water, but that
And
night
then
it was
you-
coffee.
Yeah, and then
Oh,
you,
okay.
and you standing on some steps.
But for real, if you want to do that again, I would love to do that again.
think
We
so.
should just
I think
start
it's
it
I
up.
think it was.
got a good response out of
Yeah,
it.
Absolutely.
We always go to show the community in Patrick County, but I think it was to me this time it was more of a service because you guys knew the people and it was more of a
was great.
connection than just us being there and saying, "Oh, this is the parade," you know.
Well, I hear you. Well, I will tell you this.
That sounded like it though.
Patrick County, Patrick County
parade.
really loved BTW 21 being there.
They did.
We
I
had a
it
great
was.
show.
I think it was either our
great.
most viewed or second viewed
Nice.
parade
Well, cool.
parade
Yeah,
of that
yeah,
season
yeah.
because again people recognize you guys.
Right.
and-
Well, you
and
start
know
calling
you.
people out, and then they
Yeah,
want,
yeah.
they want to check it out. You
Uh-huh.
know? They want to see what's
Yep.
going on.
Yeah.
So,
I had
it
a
was
couple
good.
of the organizers come up to me and they were like, if you're going to do the show, if you're going to do the parade, we have a list of people that's going to be in the parade. We'd be glad to give y'all. And I was like,
yeah.
okay, maybe next year.
Maybe next
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, that'll work.
But we know people.
I want to be respectful, but it's
Makes sense.
So I'm
yeah.
glad they watched.
Okay.
They did.
Okay.
Apparently they saw it.
So since
but I loved it.
since the reporter of
Main
Louis,
man.
right, the main man's here.
Luis Romero,
When you put the news
Mr.
together,
Romero.
I was watching a little news today. How does that work? Talk us through a production. You sit there and you go out and get a story,
Right.
and then you bring it to your desktop, and you put this story
That's a lot of
together.
work.
Right, that's a lot of work.
I mean it.
You record this thing out there on the field, and then you
Right.
bring it back. You got to get on your computer,
Yeah.
and you got to do a talk over, or you got to do something,
Absolutely.
and then you got to get on the air,
And
then
talk
you
about
got to talk
Talk
about
about
what
it
you're going
again.
to talk about.
Yeah.
How's that work? Like, do you just stay on it? I mean, on your computer 24 hours, or how?
for the majority of the day.
Because
I am.
we just talked about we saw you from 11 to 11.
Yeah.
But what are you doing on the computer?
Yeah. That's the prep work that.
Every time we see you, you're sitting there. Click,
Yeah.
click, 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 click.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not. There's so many ways that we get the news out. It's not just video. That's our biggest.
And
thing.
it's not just live.
And it's not just live. So we normally for any breaking news would do the initial letting you know what's happening. So that's the live. That's
Right.
the right then and there. This is what I know. It may be 2 things that I know, but that's all I know right there.
Yes.
And then we follow up with it with the authorities to get more information
verify
and
it.
verify
Right.
it too. So then that usually results in a news article. So I have to type up the articles. I'm the only one that types up articles as
Really?
well. So
Okay.
any article that you read
On the website.
it's
BTW21.com.
It's
I love
Luis.
it.
Is the man.
I share it. I share it all the time.
I see that. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
that
I
that helps us
appreciate
a lot
you, man.
because a lot of people may not know BTW, but they know Patrick County News, so that's
Yes.
how they get it. So a lot of times then it's the news article, and then at 5 o'clock that day or the day after, depending on when that happened, I compile the information from the article, the interview from the sheriff or the police chief, and then put the final product of this is what
The
happened.
story tonight, right?
Right.
This is what happened from end to end. And sometimes it doesn't happen that way. So then we follow up the week later or the day after. So that's
Wow.
normally what happens. But any type of, like, for instance, today's newscast talked about, a man being charged for a crime online against a child, trying to get them to meet up with him, right?
Now, when you did your first initial story, you didn't have all your information.
Right.
So you brought out what you had, said this is what's going on, and then within the next few hours or next day, you gain some hard evidence to
Right.
back up your big story of the news.
Yeah.
And that's when we see you on the news station.
That's right. So it
great.
takes a lot of time,
It does.
research, and being able to verify that information. But again, due diligence to make sure that
Right.
what you're
And
getting
right.
out is
And
right.
thank you, because there's a lot
Thank
of
you.
there's a lot of companies out there that just want to put
The shock factor.
the shock factor
Right.
in, like you said, and they don't care what
Mm-hmm.
if there's backing. They don't care if it's verified. They don't care if it's truth.
Right.
They're just going to put it out there to try to get a, oh my
Yeah.
God. But I'm glad that you put out the news. The
and a
best
lot-
of your ability,
yeah.
you put out the truth.
At least once a week, I get someone that calls the station or messages me or sends us an email that says, "Luis, this is a story that I have, and it all sounds really, really good. Like my employer fired me, let's say,
Or is
Without
without
diligence,
reason.
without
Yeah.
reason.
And I read the article, and they're selling it. I mean, they should work for BTW because they're selling
And
it.
you
like,
feel it.
Yeah,
You're like, I'm
let's
right
go ahead.
behind you.
And then you contact an official with that company, and they're like, "No,
They're
this is
smoking.
not."
They're
Yeah.
smoking meth out back.
Yeah,
you know.
and so
Like,
it turns out
okay.
like, okay, maybe that
Sad.
wasn't so right. So
Right.
what I'm trying to get at is a lot of times people question Luis, and I've had this before happen. BTW, because normally they don't know they're talking to me directly, so they're just like BTW's. I can't trust them. They don't do their job. They don't follow up on anything because we're not covering the story that they want to portray
cover.
one-sided.
Amen. I know that one.
And so they get upset that I don't cover a story, but I'm like, I can't cover one-sided if the other side doesn't confirm anything
Right.
or says that what you said wasn't so true.
Right.
So
And I
we fall
appreciate
we
that
fall
a lot.
into a lot of that I do. I've done a lot of follow-ups on stories that were not reportable, were not newsworthy, or were, again, just false in nature.
Right,
And so you have to be careful with that, but you have to treat every story like it's going to amount to something.
Man, that
'Cause you never
know
know.
what you're saying and everything. That
For
just shows your
example-
intelligence, and
It
that's
does.
great.
For
Very
example, this morning I got a text at around 6 this morning, and the text said that there was a overturned semi on one of the roads in Ridgeway. So I get up and I go.
Get ready to go.
Yep, and
Dun,
so I
dun,
get
dun,
there
dun.
by 7, and the guys are there cleaning it up, but the vehicle's not there anymore. And I say, hey, what happened? What are you guys up to? And it was just two guys with a truck picking up their items, and he says, F-250, I believe he said, that ran off the road, but it was completely clear, and they were just cleaning up the debris. So that was an hour, because from where I'm at, it's 30
Right.
minutes each way.
Right, to get there.
So
And to
that's
get
an
back.
hour of that was wasted, but I still have to follow up to make sure that the vehicle
Right.
wasn't there. And if it's a semi, it's going to cause delays for hours.
For hours.
So we have to
Right.
follow up on that. And sometimes, again, you waste your time on certain things.
Okay,
but you have to follow up on them.
Right. There's one thing I want to bring back up again. I'm always
Okay.
bringing it up.
No,
I
it's fine.
apologize. You are not an American.
Right.
That blows my mind that you care so much for this community, but yet you're not. You are a part of this community.
Right.
So I do not want to say that, but you were not raised in America. until later on, and you come back and they can watch our show on the 3rd. What blows my mind, 3rd show, what blows my mind is you have the heart and the love for the people of this community that I have seen more than anybody that's actually from this community.
Well, thank you.
And
That
I
means
want
a
to
lot,
say
too.
that. I mean, I say that genuinely. There's not many people that I have, well, there's quite a few people that I've met that actually love this place.
Right.
Henry County, Patrick County, all of us together. But for a newsman, somebody that's respected, somebody that's popular in a news environment, to care that much, because you don't have to do everything that you do.
That's true.
People don't know this, but I'm going to lay the hell out because I don't. I'm
Well,
not.
everybody
I don't
on-
work. I don't work for Chad Hall.
Everybody on TV talks the truth. What are you talking
They
about?
didn't. I don't work for Chad Hall.
Right.
But I can lay down the truth of what I've known, and nobody owns me either. I run that Patrick County News Group.
Right.
I saw you in BTW 21 years ago, and then you were on our show, and you've helped us out, dude, to be real, and here you are again. I mean, it just amazes me that a man with your background, that cares for the community and cares for America. You said something on our 3rd show that really blew my mind. You said this is the land of opportunity, and
This
you were
is it.
talking. You were talking about America.
Yep.
I mean, people don't realize. I don't even realize it. I was born here. I was blessed to be able to be born in Martinsville Hospital
I hold
and
that
be raised in
against you. You
Patrick
know
County.
that, right?
I know you,
You do. You
You're
do.
a little
I gotta
outside.
work for
Sorry,
mine.
man. Sorry, but no, I mean it just blows my mind. That it's any way I can help you or we can help you to be able to be, because you have over.
You know what he needs, Daniel?
What do I need?
He needs to get married.
That is true. That is true.
We need a good woman for this man. I tried to get some applications out there at
I-
Fast Track.
He's
I will
getting
say
married.
you are a good wingman, right? That's the word. Yeah. Yeah.
Out there at Fast Track,
Yeah.
I tried to get you some applications.
Yes,
you
you
were
did. So
taking
I appreciate
applications.
that. I appreciate that.
I saw him. I was out there representing a company that I represent. I'm not going to say.
So I wasn't gonna
But-
bring up. I really didn't want
But
to.
really?
I really didn't want to bring up your nationality.
Okay. Well, I'm
thought-
proud of
I
it
love
too.
I thought.
I am.
Yeah,
I'm not saying you're
proud
not
of it.
proud of
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
but
no,
I
no,
thought
I'm proud of it.
we talked about it last
proud
time.
of it.
And what I really wanted to talk about was what you're doing here.
Right.
But since we have brought it up,
Do
Yeah.
it.
what is your visa? What is your work visa? 30 seconds
30.
left.
That's a new
We got
sign.
a new sign
They
and
got a new.
everything.
They're
2 minutes.
Oh my
serious
God.
this time.
I love it.
Serious this time.
So we're going to talk about it when we get
Okay.
back. I want to know what it's going to take
Okay.
for you to be here forever, and not.
well, I'm here forever.
Are you?
I'm here forever.
Well, good.
So
We
what
gotta know
happens? How you got? Do you got to work?
We got to
visa?
marry him.
You got to be married. Are
Can we
you
marry
just
him?
here?
Oh.
I think
We
we
don't
just
talk
legalize.
about
Sorry.
I think just legalize gay marriage so we can get married.
All right. I'm good.
Break. Let's
I'm
go
outta
to break.
here.
Let's go to break.
Time's up.
Thumbs up.
Time is up. The hell with that. I'm done.
If you get a chance, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it. And we're back. Thank you for joining us here on the Be Real, the podcast. We're your hosts again, Daniel Lewis, Brother Chad Hudson.
Hello,
We're here
again.
with Louise Romero.
Lifesavers.
If you wouldn't mind, if you just heard it on the halfway point. If you wouldn't mind, go down there and hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out. We're trying to keep this thing going. Local people, local places, local podcasts. We are your local guys. We love you. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for putting us out there. And if you want to share it, or even if you just want to subscribe, that greatly appreciated. Or just comment. Just comment. Let us know how you feel about the topics and subjects that we cover. We're trying to just promote local people. And we love this guy right here. He's Luis Romero. We tried to get him a bike last year.
Yeah, what happened to that?
Somebody got
I'm
it.
glad you brought that up.
Who got it?
Some
I
guy.
can't remember either.
We lost. Some guy who got
We
it.
lost.
But
There
that's
was a
okay.
lot of tickets bought for Luis Romero.
That's okay. We'll find
Which
a bike
went
this
to a
spring.
good. It went to a good
This spring.
cause.
First day of spring today, right?
Right?
yeah,
right,
first
fellas?
day of spring. He needs to get out there.
He needs to get. We'll get him a bike.
He does. He can ride with one. Can he ride on the back of yours? You got you got an extra helmet?
He could ride backwards, no dick to butt.
That's true.
No
I
butt.
agree. I agree.
No butt tonight.
I agree.
You're not riding butt tonight, even from El Salvador, and it's like
No.
Wait, you guys are going off track, and this is getting gross. What I need you to do, Luis, is go over to the college and get your permit. Get your permit to
That's
ride.
true.
You
Yeah.
take I think it's just a weekend. I think it's a 3-day adventure.
Yeah.
Friday night, you'll ride over there, and you'll get I think like a 2-hour class on what you're going to talk about, what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Then Saturday morning, you get out there and get on a bike and do a couple training exercises.
they provide it.
They provide the
bike?
bike.
Yeah,
They provide the bike. They provide a helmet if you don't have one, but you should bring your own.
Yeah.
And
That's all right.
Gloves. And then gloves. And then Sunday you do a little test riding, and then you have your motorcycle license.
Boom.
Wow.
Do you know everything about a motorcycle at that point? No.
Nope.
But you do have the permit to go out and figure it out.
Yes.
And I have done that class. Daniel's done that class.
Yep, my son.
Several of my friends have done that class. His
Yeah,
son's
son.
done that class.
Yeah, we did it. We loved it.
And I would do it again.
I would too.
So if
totally
you're
worth it.
if you're ready to sign up, I'll not only pay for it, but I will also partake with you. So you don't need to own a motorcycle to get your license.
Right.
So there's no hesitation. So any hesitation is on you, my friend. It's paid for.
It's all your fault.
It's on you now.
It is on.
All right.
So
We'd
we'll,
love
we'll
for you
leave
to,
it at
man.
that.
I would
Thank you
love
for the
to.
offer.
Because we would
I
hang-
mean, really, I would love to ride with you. I think we'd have a good time. We go and this is one of the main reasons we actually started
Right.
the Be Real podcast was we met so many different people out on the road. I mean, we've been all over the place. You get on the bike and you just travel
And you stop and you have a conversation with somebody,
right.
and next thing you know, 2 hours has gone by.
Yeah.
Right.
And
and they own something or they don't.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah,
they
yeah.
either
Or
own
they
it or
know
artists.
somebody.
Or they know somebody, but they're artists.
Right.
And they just never had the opportunity to be able to speak.
Right.
Hey, you got an opportunity to speak now. And so
But anyways, I want to talk to you about what I asked
Okay.
before we left.
Okay.
we're getting married.
Oh man, another break.
All right, cut.
Do we got another one?
Christian, where's your sign? Cut this shit out.
I love him. I do.
No.
I do love him. He's a great guy.
So
I
you-
would.
So do you have, let us know, you have a work permit here, or do you
Right.
are you a citizen here, or can you be a citizen? Where are you?
We're
Where
lost.
on the platform?
So yeah,
We're
I
lost.
can work legally in the United States.
Right.
So I'm here legally.
But you came.
what's
you
that
came
involve?
when you were 8 years old.
8 years old.
Right.
Right.
Eight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's been a process to be able to be here legally.
To stay here.
Yeah, yeah, to stay here. And then the way that I've talked to my immigration attorney, right now, because of the current law, the only way for me to become a U.S. citizen would be through marriage. Right
Daniel.
Now, right now.
How you feeling, bro?
I'll do it. I'll do it.
I like you, Daniel, but I don't know about.
Yeah.
Okay,
Wait,
so
you're already
let's-
married.
There's
You're
no
already
sexual-
married, though.
There's no sexual involvement. It's just
But you're already married,
we
though.
can figure it out.
I'm not getting married to anyone. I'm not having
Thank
sexual
you.
involvement with.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Thank you.
so
I love him, though. He's a great guy.
You can't. You're here since 8.
Right?
What does immigration tell you? That you have to obey the laws.
Right.
You can't get in any trouble.
What the hell's a green card? Is that what you're doing? Or?
Similar.
Okay.
Yep.
Explain
So-
what is similar. What is
that
all
you-
I know is green card.
Yeah, you can be here legally and work here legally. Have a social security number so you can pay your taxes, and then
So you pay taxes.
Yep, and then be able to operate a vehicle with the license.
So you have a license in
Yep,
the state
I
of
have a
Virginia.
license. Yep.
So besides
Huh.
besides crime, what are the things that would not allow you to stay here? Like, how long do you have on a work permit, or
Good
Green
question.
card or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's
What
a good question.
happened?
So that my program, which is called DACA, is 2 years.
So every 2 years,
every 2 years,
have to put in an application for you to stay here.
And renew it. I have to renew that application, and if I do not renew it, then I will not be here legally and cannot work here legally. So with working here, I have to be able to renew that and show proof that I have renewed it.
And you have done that.
Yep. And it costs about $1,000 every 2 years to be able to renew that.
Damn.
And then I have to travel to be able to do that as well.
So
it's a money ass.
So with that being
machine.
said, with you saying that it costs you about $1,000,
God bless,
with you
man.
saying that it takes every 2 years, because I get a renewed license like every 4 years or every 6 years.
I thought it was 7 years or something like that. No? 10?
No, it was
7,
4
10?
when I was younger. I think it's moved up now to about 7.
You talking about driver's license?
Yeah, I've done
Grace, how long is it?
Anything that you have to renew is a pain in my ass.
Yeah, it is.
So every 2 years you have to renew this. Every 2 years you have to pay $1,000 to somebody.
U.S. government.
But you're a born citizen.
How do you feel about the immigration that's coming over illegally?
How do I feel as far as they
How do you, like, I could sit here as an American,
Okay.
because I was born here, because I feel like I have some kind of privilege because I was born here.
Right.
I could sit there and say, well, this person is coming over illegally. There's legal ways of doing it,
Right.
and there's illegal ways of doing it.
Yeah.
Well, we have been shown in the news in the last 3 to 4 years that there has been this squad of illegals coming over the border. How do you feel about that situation, being somebody that has to go through all these legal ways about doing
It's been
things?
here since 2008, not just in the last
6,
3 or 4
2006.
years.
Does that not
2006?
aggravate you
Holy
that
mackerel.
these are coming through without having to do the work that you have to? Or do you feel that, America is the dream and y'all coming?
I think that everyone should follow the law.
Yeah.
No, you're right, and that is what I do feel, that you should do it rightfully and lawfully. Yeah,
There's laws
absolutely.
for certain reasons.
Yep, and everyone should follow them. So that's my take on it, and I wouldn't say it
Does
makes
that
me
deter
mad, but-
you? Does it deter you or make you mad that we are just now allowing this flood of immigrants over without any type of documentation or any type of...
It would concern people because you don't know, what type of people also are
Right.
coming in.
And
And
there's
I
no
mean,
vetting.
that's the reality of it. And I mean, every country has laws in it, but obviously, again, as I mentioned, this is the law, the land of opportunity. So this is why everyone is coming here. But you do have that problem everywhere else. And I will say that one of the things that we have to do is take responsibility as a country, meaning El Salvador, and the president, the current one, has done, which I applaud him for, is saying that El Salvador and other countries as well have failed their people by not being able to provide for them, not having the
Right.
resources like places
Security
like
and
yep, like
resources.
America. Because if that was the case, we
They
wouldn't
wouldn't
have
wanna
to
leave.
leave El
Right,
Salvador for
right.
better opportunities.
Right.
And so
You would
we
grow
we
where
have to
you're
start at the problem of harm,
Do you believe that we are going to get to a point to where there's so much immigration that we are not the land of opportunity anymore?
That's a good question. I've never thought about that, but it could be. But I mean,
It could progress to that.
Could it not progress to that?
It could.
If we have so many of the issue, the problems, that the same thing that you're leaving for,
Right.
if we have those here,
Right.
then aren't we just becoming
right?
what you're leaving?
Well, that's the same thing we had in 1775. I mean, the majority of our 13 colonies was British. So it was hard for those few people that saw America as an American without being able to say, wait a minute. We are our own colony. We're our own individual people. We have this flag. This represents us. This is our continent. It's not just... I don't know. It's a weird situation. It really is. Because you want to let everybody over here that you want to let over here. And everybody that should as far as humans go, have an opportunity to be able to do whatever they want to, should be able to do what they want to. But it's a weird, because you got these other countries that are, I don't know. It's just,
Well,
I can't explain it.
I
I'm not
lived
one of
in
those
I lived in
scholars.
Southern California for a lot of my teenage years, and I knew a lot of friends who were in high school with me that weren't legal citizens,
Right.
and they lived in fear of immigration
Right.
coming and taking them home,
Yeah.
or taking them back to Mexico. So I really feel that other side. I
got you.
you know, a friend I knew, his family had came over illegally back in the 60s, and they've created, something broke, and they've created,
Oh, I thought it was immigration coming for me. They found me. They found me.
There's ice.
Hide me.
Shoot me.
no, that's too much. That's too much. Way too much.
I'm protecting you. Get down.
But as my friend is telling me the story of his grandma coming over, and then his dad was actually born here, and he was actually born there, but the whole family wasn't legally here. At that age, I felt like, well, you should be here. You know,
Right.
England people, British people, everybody's an immigrant, and everybody should be here. So I do see both sides, but I do see a legal way of doing things.
Right.
But is that what we need to change, I think? Is there not enough representation of a legal way to come in here? If you have 10,000 people trying to come over here, but you only have 2 social workers to deal with that crowd,
Right.
to legalize them over here, they can't wait 9 months.
Right.
They, you know, if they're from El Salvador, they can't wait 9 months in Mexico
Right.
Right.
to get into America,
Because they're also illegal.
because now they're illegally in Mexico.
Yep.
Right.
You know, so I do see, unfortunately, and a lot of people that I'm friends with, they only see one side or
Okay.
the other side.
And I understand. Yeah.
And I am not that
Yeah, me either.
at all.
I understand.
I am on pretty much both sides. If we could come up with a better system,
Right.
Right.
Well,
I think's the answer.
I will say that I'm not gonna sit here and try to say go with either side of it, because I try to be on the fence for everything. You know?
Amen.
Not-
And I think
not
that's
not
why
just
we
on the border,
appreciate
know?
you. That's why we appreciate it, not just on border issues.
No, not
but
on the border fence. Like I don't want. Oh, never mind.
I'm on both sides. I'm dangling on barbed wire.
Yeah.
No. I think on most issues in my life, I'm like that.
Yeah.
I do see
I
both
think-
sides. of
I think
things.
that helps, again, being a decent human being by being on the fence. But what I will say is that I don't think that we need to fix the issue of everyone comes in. And I know people are going to look at me, but you know, you would think that a Hispanic would want. No, you don't want that, because again, we talk about the security concerns.
Yes.
And there, it's a law. So yes, it's going to be difficult for someone to come through that process, but it has to be done. And I'm not saying that I done it the right way, but now trying to make sure that I'm doing it legally,
Right.
and then also making sure that those things are renewed so that I am here legally,
Right.
and understanding that you have to follow the laws if you want to be able to be here. So
Yes.
the laws are there, and they're there to be followed. So
Right.
you can't just say, well, let me change it because I am a Hispanic, or I know a Hispanic. Let me change it because that benefits me. If we did that, okay, I would say, well, let's change the seatbelt law because I don't want to wear a seatbelt.
No, that's I
You know,
agree
'Cause
with
you're
you. I
Hispanic.
agree
Yeah,
with
you can't look at things that way. And I also get the whole thing of, and they're in their countries and they are starving to death and they need to find a better way, and this is the only way. But again, I still think that there is a way to do everything legally, and that's the way that it should
It
be
is.
done.
It's
And-
hard.
And I have to just not complain about the $1,000 every 2 years, because I know that that's what it costs for me to be able to do that. and I'm not going to complain about that. I'm going to say, well, this is the opportunity that I'm given.
Well,
These are the circumstances, and
I think the only
I've
complaint
tried to change it, but I
That
can't.
blows my
you
mind.
know?
I think the only complaint about it is where someone would do it without doing that.
Right.
You know, if you're going by the law and you're going by the rules, and that is deterrent of somebody who's not doing such. I think we need to probably talk about some other things than immigration, because I know that when I started this show today, that I didn't even want to talk about you being a El Salvadorian.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about you being a patriot, American, and that's the way I
That's the way I
view
look
you.
at
Thank
him.
you.
That's the
how
way I
look
view
at him.
you.
Yeah, that's the way I look at him too.
You know, I view you as an American. I view you as a
Somebody
public
cares.
servant.
Yes.
You
thank
know, and that's how I view you.
He's
So
run for office.
right, and
Got to be a citizen first.
Damn it.
Daniel, that's up to you, my brother.
Damn it. Damn it.
No, we've already went through that. No, thank you.
But that's the lengths I'm ready to go to.
But I
mean, for real.
I think,
Whatever it takes. You
but
good
it's
man.
important also to talk about the issues. It's also important to talk about what's happening, because that way we can educate others and hopefully
Right.
put that mindset of, hey, let me tackle a certain issue, a certain problem, a certain way with, let me look at both sides instead of just, okay, this is the way I want it. You
Well,
know?
I think
Yeah.
that is great. I mean,
You
we're
talk
sitting
about it.
here
You talk
talking. You're
How
talking
much
to
he's grown since the
right.
last
You're
time
talking
we
to
interviewed him.
two very white boys that have that have been born and bred here in America. We do appreciate our heritage. We do appreciate, but we're telling you truthfully
Right.
that we appreciate you, your story,
Yes.
your trip. A trip across the border.
Not easy.
And we're telling you we admire that. We
Right.
admire that.
Totally.
But we're two people that also feel that our government needs to get a hold of this border crisis that we're dealing with, because it's not just we talk about from the south, the southern border. Now everybody goes, okay, Mexican.
Yeah.
Okay, Mexican border. Mexicans coming in. But it's not that. It's China's coming in.
Yep.
Yep.
It's
Australia.
Australia's coming. These people are going to Mexico because they get them cheap, and then they're coming across
Yep.
the border. And I'm not opposed to people coming to get help, but when I look at those lines, I don't see children, and I don't see women.
Right.
Mostly. Not women.
I see 20-year-old men coming across that border.
Right.
And I just think that we need to do a better job.
Yeah.
And maybe we, instead of this $1 million, $1 billion on fences and barbed wire and stuff, we need to get social workers down there and try to pursue a legal integration to our country than just either blocking them off and telling them they're bad.
Okay.
Or,
Yeah.
I just
Vet.
think, right, I think
Vet.
there's a better way to.
And another
to
aspect
pursue
of
this.
it too is like my case, 8 years old. I didn't come here willingly. That wasn't.
Yeah.
That's
Imagine
not,
that.
And I'm not saying that I was held against my will to come, but
or opposed to it, but you had no clue.
Yeah, I was okay.
Watch the first
We're
show.
going on an adventure, Dora
Right.
the Explorer, and all I know is I'm in a new home. I'm here with my biological mother that
Right.
I'm just meeting as a stranger.
Right.
And it just happened because I can tell you, and my aunt would tell you, when we were in El Salvador, I was there and I was crying every single day since I found out that I was going to leave what I
Yeah.
knew was home.
I remember you telling me that.
So
Well, we were on the show.
Yeah. So it's also a thing that I'm not saying again that I should be the victim. Oh, I wasn't here,
Right.
on my own.
Right.
But again,
I do
because I'm
understand what
here,
you're saying,
is trying to fix that.
Right.
Okay,
Well,
I did it. It was done. Wasn't done right. So let me fix that. And
Right.
that's my case of trying to do that.
I've seen kids cry and scream out getting took from their home that we viewed as a horrible thing. Meaning like a kid in a drug house, drug infested, and they're getting took from their home by, CPS or what's
it's CPS,
CPS.
I think, right?
And they're upset because they know no different. To them, that is home.
Yep.
To them, that is safety. To them, now we look at it as a horrible place.
Right.
We look at it as
That's all they've ever known.
but that's all they've ever known. And I'm sure that was kind of like you coming over here. Now you know it's the land of opportunity.
Yeah.
8 years old didn't know it was the
No,
land of
absolutely
opportunity.
not.
Right.
So
It's wild, man.
it's just a crazy thought.
There's another thing that the media doesn't portray, which I understand, because at the southern border, you have people coming over illegally because they can just go through certain places in the border. But we still have immigration from north. We still have immigration that's coming in from the East Coast.
Yeah.
My grandparent, great grandpa, came over in 1651. And was given some land. Well, the guy that sponsored him was given some land to be able to come over here. So we've always had immigration.
Yeah.
But when you see the immigration of illegality, I guess is how you say it. Hell, I don't know if that's a
I
word
wouldn't
or
know.
not.
That was pretty
Spanish
good.
is my
I always
first
loved
language.
that.
Illegality. It
I
sounds
like
good.
that.
Don't it?
Sounds good.
So it's just where it's cut down. It's come in, and there's not anything. But you came in legally. You flew from what you were telling us, El Salvador. I think y'all come to Atlanta and then to Greensboro. How did that work? How do you get over here? How did you get over here?
No,
You told me.
went through Guatemala, then Mexico,
Guatemala.
then Texas, and I guess would have been
And into
Atlanta,
Texas.
but
Now, how you do that without a?
I have an
you didn't
uncle
have a
from
green
Guatemala.
card? How you do that? You don't. Yeah, you told us about that. How you do that without a green card? I mean, how did you just?
no, I did not come in here legally. Remember, I was brought as 8,
As a child.
as 8.
So you didn't
as
come
a child.
legally.
No, but
you flew
since-
in here. You
no,
flew in here?
No, we came through buses, walking,
Really?
different transportation to get here. But then
Oh.
being here, then I fixed it to where I am here legally
Right.
now.
Right.
So
Yeah,
it was Greensboro, wasn't it?
Yeah, Greensboro is where my aunt was,
Yeah.
and then I went from
Yeah.
Greensboro to Martinsville.
Right.
But the DACA
Beforehand.
the DACA is actually a program that allows early childhood arrivals, which is in the
Really?
name, to be able to, because again, we weren't brought
Your mama
here.
was already here.
Yeah, my mother was already here. So,
So that helped.
and she's a permanent resident. Not,
Right,
she doesn't
right.
have DACA because she wasn't the age that I was when I came in.
Gotcha.
Because I came with uncles and aunts.
Yeah.
And so coming
When they could
through
go
that-
back to the first show and hear
yeah,
all about
coming
it and everything.
coming through that, then fixing the mistake again that was made of me coming here illegally and making it right by filling out the paperwork, getting
Really?
the DACA, and doing everything like
Wow.
that. Yeah.
So there's ways to do it legally.
Well,
Even if you start
like I
off-
said,
Well, if you
and
wanna
that's,
stay.
and that's why I said that I haven't done everything. And again, well, my grown-ups, I would say, didn't do everything the right way. But there are, and it should be done the right way.
There's a lot of
And
shit you
if
gotta
I
remember.
could go back and I was 8 and I had the mind, now
Right.
would be like, yeah, let's back
Well,
up.
man,
Wait a minute.
Let's do that.
Oh,
Because
yep.
you already knew that I didn't want to come in
Right,
the first
right,
place.
right.
But yes, but I believe, if I'm correct, the process of actually doing it legally before you even enter would take years for you to
Oh, yeah.
be able to do that before you get approved and
Years
everything.
and years.
But again, I'm not saying that either way is right or wrong. As you shouldn't wait. No, you should wait. And that's the right way to do it.
So you came across
You can do it.
walking, or you flew in?
No,
How
different trips were either
No
walking,
way, Christian. We have not talked for no 26 minutes.
walking,
or something.
buses,
He
different
said,
modes
yeah.
of transportation.
Really?
And I guess a lot of things to be considered is that there's so much money in the illegal side of
Dang
immigration
right. That's sad.
that
Right.
why would all of the United States
That's
want to fix it.
Right. Well, that's where money.
Because the people, the
know
guides,
it.
the coyotes, the guides are paid so much
Right.
money to bring them.
Right.
For every law,
bullshit.
for every law that is made, there is money to be made on the other side.
Right.
Right.
Whether it be guns, whether it be immigration, whether
always
it
a
be
black market.
whether it be drugs, whether it be a TV set.
Reason there's a black market.
If you make a law on something, you're guaranteed there's going to be money on the other side.
Right.
We just got the 2-minute warning.
We did.
Yep, I didn't believe that we talked for that long, but Christian said he was watching his clock, and that's what it was. I didn't want to talk about immigration. I didn't want to talk about El Salvador. Brother, I believe you're an American.
Well, thank
I
you.
believe your patriotism, your support for the community is
Well, thank
above
you.
and beyond, and I'm honored to call you a friend,
Yeah,
Thank
me
you.
too.
and
Same-
I hope for
same
many
here.
years.
Me too, brother. One thing I can say is, since I've had you on this first show, or I think it was the third show we talked about it a couple times, I have paid more to El Salvador. I have looked more into it.
He was
And
looking
so
for his
those-
grandma's papoose.
Yeah, I think so.
The president, we just talked about this. Even
Yep.
if we didn't, it was in my heart. I saw him at the CPAC, I think
Yep,
it was.
it
Yeah.
was.
And so you can go back and look. You can look it up on YouTube for the president, the new president. He was president before, and then later they come on. He's cleared out crime.
Yep.
He has really changed El Salvador. It blew my mind, and so I've communicated with Louise about it. And so, I mean, it just makes a major difference. It really does.
and,
But even if he didn't and all that shit didn't happen, I still respect you as a man.
you.
And I'm grateful that you're here, and I'll definitely marry you if we need to.
Okay, hand back. But I will say, with that, a lot of people have asked, things are great now. Would you want to live in El Salvador now? I still this is home for
That's
me.
awesome,
you know,
man.
This-
Yeah,
this-
we
eight
love you,
years
man.
old. This is what I've known as home.
Well,
But would that
we
not
love you,
would
man.
that not be a key too? Is make these places
Oh, yes,
as
yes,
good
yes.
as the
Right.
United States,
Right.
so they
Yeah.
don't feel like they
Right.
have to
So
flee.
they- Right.
That they don't feel like they have to run.
And again, that's
Right.
what I'm talking about. Let's start at the bases, and I feel
Yes.
like we are turning it around.
We
So,
are.
great.
Yeah, I believe so. People are turning
Yep.
around.
Well,
At least for El Salvador.
I
We
wanted
love
to
you,
talk
man.
about your news some more, but we ran out of time. Daniel and I both want to go out and follow you on a news show one
yeah,
day.
you told me that.
will do
Go
that.
on a shooting or
I mean,
something.
for real.
And brother, wear a bulletproof vest or something when you go out there, man. We're in
Yeah,
Martinsville.
we love you, man. We
Love you, Luis.
Luis Romero.
Thank you.
Y'all be real and come on back.
Come on back.
Take this moment to subscribe. It really helps, and we greatly appreciate it.